Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. It's been like a week of new things for us.
How?
Well, you got us a new Christmas tree.
It's 7.5 feet tall.
That's a big deal.
And it
already
sparkles.
Pre-lit. Like it has lights.
Yep.
Very nice. I like it. It's going to look nicer when you decorate it. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a new adventure too.
We did?
Where did we go on the weekend?
I actually have no idea where that was.
Well, they call it Corona, but I would say it's just basically San Bernardino County. It was like Lake Matthews area.
Well, that is what the town was called, yeah, Lake Matthews.
So I think that's how you would refer to it. But, you know, that's where we went. And we're trying to go to this animal wildlife preserve, and it was closed.
Which is weird.
Which is really strange. But
I almost wonder if we were just there too early.
It's possible, I suppose, kind of. But it was closed. And so then she guided me like towards the lake because we wanted to like take some drone footage and, you know, just kind of mess around with the drone.
And we had the Winosaurus Rex.
And we had the whiny dog in the back, and we had, you know, Yogi in the front. And we go along there, and of course, you know, it's not really a lake, it's a reservoir. So of course it's closed to the public. No one's allowed in there. So that was kind of interesting. And my guess would also be that flying the drone over it would be illegal.
Because it's private property.
Yeah. Well, you can fly over private property. You're allowed to fly over private property. No one owns the airspace above there. What the government will do is they'll restrict, like, that's a reservoir. Because what would stop somebody from, like, putting some poison on the drone and then crashing the drone into the water? It has to be made illegal so that people can't do that stuff without repercussion. I don't know. Anyway. It is what it is. But we found this little park. You know, you looked it up. I'm not even sure how you found it, but you found this little park, and it was kind of a...
Hiking parks near me.
It was kind of a creepy little place. It really was. It was kind of... Wouldn't you agree it was kind of creepy?
Well, it definitely seemed like the kind of place where you would hide the bodies.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't find any bodies.
I was going to call it the serial killer hike. There's a reason why.
I didn't find any bodies.
No, I didn't see any bodies. I saw a lot of like partying had gone on there. I guarantee you the teenagers use that as the local place to bang and get high.
Well, yeah, there was like beer cans in that one spot. And
I guarantee you the locals use it for that.
But I think down that scary hill that I didn't want to walk down, that's where the dead bodies are.
Could be. It was steep enough, and more people are like us and not going to go down there. But I got to fly the drone, got some nice drone footage. It was sort of cool.
Should have flown the drone down there.
No, I'd like to keep my drone in one piece. Yeah. So that was interesting. It was, and then the dogs loved it. Like Bree was like a gazelle jumping over rocks. And
she was exploring, and climbing.
Her body, let's face it, her body's built for it, and she's athletic. So she just, you know, went to town. But
if you hadn't have been flying your drone and we could have let her off her leash, she would have been in freaking heaven.
The little guy. Yeah, I don't know if I would have trusted her out there though.
She was good at the beach.
But, you know, the little guy was like, he's just into it. He likes stuff like that. He's adventurous, the little guy.
Mountain goat.
Do you remember when we did that one in Pasadena where we had to go in, and then our original photo for the show was taken on that hike?
Yes.
And we went all the way into the backwoods, and, you know, it was really pretty back there. And then there's like this waterfall. But Yogi was like, he must have run like 10 times as far as us, because he would go and come back. Go and come back.
He was on the leash.
Go and come back.
Like running back and
go
forth.
And come back. Yeah, and like constantly back and forth, back and forth.
And remember we were worried about him through that really, really rocky area, and he was just like spring,
boing, 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 boing. Okay, here I am.
Little mountain goat.
It was the cutest thing. And Bree, you know, she's just like that. And then we kind of walked around there a bit. It was pretty. It was really, really pretty. that was like it's the first time we saw like a KB Homes with like a 1 acre of land to start.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yep.
So what did you think of that weird little park place that
Well, it was weird.
Went to?
I mean, it served its purpose. You got to fly your drone. The dogs got to explore something. I wouldn't make it like my every Saturday destination.
Definitely not.
But it was okay. And it was Hanford County Park, something like that.
Huh. That's very interesting.
In Paris.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We ended up in some weird places this weekend, but that's what I'm talking about. Normally, we've been the type, like we were starting to become more adventurous, and then the damn pandemic hit. And so we've kind of been the let's not travel too far from home kind of people, you know?
But why? There was nobody else there.
And there was no real reason to be that way. So this time we were like, you know what? Let's just pick a place and go there. It might be, an hour drive one way. Who cares? We're not in any hurry to do anything.
Right.
And what are we going to do? Sit at home? And literally, that's all we do.
We were home by 10 o'clock.
I know. We were home super early. We had a full day of it, though. Like, we left at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And we got home closer to 10:30. But yeah, I mean, that was just crazy how much time we burned. And, we didn't really do a whole lot in all that time. It's just, I don't know. It's slightly.
What did we learn, though? We learned to Google to make sure the lake is actually a lake and not a reservoir.
Yes. We learned to Google our destination more carefully.
We learned to Google, like, all the things before we go.
Well, that's the weird thing is someone had talked about flying their drone in the nature preserve and how they had done it, just 2 weeks before. So
I think that we probably it probably has business hours. Like somebody probably opens and closes that
maybe
gate.
It might be 9 or 10 o'clock because we were there early. We were there 8:30.
Before 8 o'clock because the park we ended up going to only opened at 8 o'clock. We got there 8:04. But I almost wonder if when we were done, if we hadn't driven back out there, if the gate would have been open.
Maybe.
Too bad we didn't think of that then.
Yeah, I didn't think of that at the time. It was, now that I think about it, it was no creepier than, say, when we went to the Grand Canyon.
I didn't feel like 6 people were murdered last week at the Grand Canyon.
Well, yeah, but I guess you have a point there. See, to me, it wasn't that much different than the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
It just wasn't when I think about it. I mean, I've had to sit here and think about it for a little while, but yeah. But, this whole thing we've been doing lately with the animals has been great because, that Sunday, we took them and we threw the ball for them. Mm-hmm. And then, Yogi ran around like a lunatic. And then they slept the whole day. And I'm not talking light sleep. I'm talking out like a rock sleep, gone.
Yeah.
And it's good for them. They need to burn off some of this energy that they have. And I've noticed that a certain somebody is better behaved and not jumping on everybody all the time. Now that she's had more exercise. Not constantly.
You know what she doesn't do? Destroy boxes while we're not home.
Yeah, she's not bored.
Right.
She's getting the energy out, and it's good. It's good for us too because we're getting out in the air, getting some sunlight, and they say, it's what you need in order to fend off the good old, COVID-19. So I don't know. I think
19.
Yeah. Well, I think that it is what do you call it? What am I trying to say here? I think that the whole scenario with the pets is helping us because it's making us get out of the house. It's giving us a reason to get out of the house because it's pretty depressing when you're with somebody who you get along with as well as I get along with you, yet I can't stand just being in the house all the time. And it literally has nothing to do with the person I'm with is the point.
I think we like where we live.
Yeah, it's just it's awful, man. I was thinking about that, where I was starting to get depressed at the old place.
I think by now I probably would have gone crazy and lit something on fire.
I know something would have happened by now. I mean, we would have broken a wall or something. Who knows? It would have made us super depressed. I'm glad that we don't have that situation. But that has helped us a lot to have the dogs, and get us out in the sunlight and help us get a little healthier, get some fresh air.
With dogs, they're 2 times more likely to get coronavirus.
That's what doesn't make any sense. But that's okay. Do you know that when he's talking about that? Do you know that in LA that when they shut down the indoor and outdoor dining, they said that it was the science that told them to do that. And later they admitted that it's because people weren't wearing masks while inside the restaurant like they should. So it's not really about the science. It's that you didn't do what they asked you to do. So now they're mad at you. Boo hoo hoo.
We're being slapped on the wrist. Cool beans.
Yeah. Isn't that
nice.
great? Isn't that great?
In case I haven't said it before, fuck you, state of California.
Right? Like people,
You stupid clumsy bitch.
people need to get the concept here that you just got to stand up for yourself. You know, you have to demand that you be allowed to keep your business open so you don't, because there is no science here with any of this. And I mean, remember we found out the whole thing about restaurants weren't even in the top 10, but government offices were number 4. Come on.
Yet they closed down outdoor dining, right?
Their own people can't follow the rules, but they get to stay open.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
That's because the DMV makes the government money.
Yeah,
The government has given away so much money, they're kind of hurting.
Well,
Soon the
yeah.
politicians are going to have to take 1% pay cuts.
Yeah, it's like, where are they getting all this money from? It's kind of crazy.
They're printing it. It's going to be the fall of the economy. The government is printing money.
Yeah, that's not going to be good, but I don't know. I just think that we need to say enough is enough. You know, and that's why, like, we have something to announce on, well, another few episodes, I would imagine. It's going to be our first episode of the new year. We have something big to announce that's going to be coming. And there's a lot of reasons to announce it then, but, you know, not the least of which is to put a little pressure on ourselves to get it done.
Anyway.
Excuse me?
You lunatic.
Excuse me? I'm not allowed to finish what I was saying?
You're just not allowed to finish it so slowly.
I can finish it at whatever pace I want. Now I'm going to be even slower. Anyway, you get the point. You should be allowed to do your thing. And when you're with somebody who, like us in our situation, we're lucky that we get along with each other because we would go cuckoo crazy if we didn't. So it's good that we're getting out. And that's my whole point. Just good to get out. And thank you, doggies, for forcing us to do that.
Wow, you walked through the entire forest for that one.
I did, because I couldn't see the forest through the trees. So I had to get through the trees first. And then once I was through the trees, I was in the forest. I figured I might as well go all the way through the forest.
Alrighty. On that a super exciting note about trees, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.